The Whispers of Cold Harbor. Chapter 1. Static and Whispers. The quaint town of Cold Harbor was a silent relic of times past, nestled between the whispering pines and the calm, ebbing tides of the harbor. The townsfolk were used to the quiet life, with days passing by as gently as the clouds overhead. But that silence was about to be broken. Clara Bennett, with her notebook in hand and skepticism as her guide, walked the cobblestone streets with purpose. As Cold Harbor's most tenacious journalist for the local paper, the harbor's voice, she had a nose for the odd and unexplained. Her latest interest wasn't a story she found, but one that found her, through the crackling waves of her radio. It started as an anomaly, a series of strange interruptions on every station available on Clara's old-fashioned radio. At first, she thought nothing of it, but when her neighbor mentioned hearing his name whispered amidst the static, Clara's attention was piqued. The whispers grew more frequent, forming words then sentences, and soon they carried messages. Dark premonitions that began to come true with alarming accuracy. The first prediction was innocuous, a simple proclamation that the town's long-standing oak tree would fall. And fall it did, during the stillness of a night with not a breath of wind. This was followed by a forewarning of a fisherman's boat capsizing in serene weather, which also came to pass. The town was abuzz with whispers not of the radio, but of fear and wonder. Clara listened to the radio with a critical ear, tracing the origins of the broadcasts. Static filled the room, and then a voice cut through, clear and cold, "Beware the Ides of March." Clara shivered. March was only a week away. What was a mere curiosity had now hooked her completely, and she needed to know more. She needed to understand how these whispers could know such things. As the static faded and the room grew silent once more, Clara made a decision. She would investigate these whispers. She would find their source. Little did she know, her skepticism would be challenged, and her belief in the normal would be shaken to its core as she delved deeper into the mystery of the whispers of Cold Harbor. Chapter 2. Frequencies of Fear. The Ides of March brought a tempest that darkened the skies above Cold Harbor, as if to fulfill the ominous whisper. Clara, undeterred by the gathering storm, set out with her radio equipment, determined to trace the source of the whispers. Each broadcast left a faint, but distinct, electronic signature that she learned to follow, a breadcrumb trail leading her into the heart of the mystery. The whispers grew more urgent, and the townsfolk more anxious, as each prediction proved true. The voice spoke of unspoken secrets and foretold incidents that Clara could scarcely believe. Yet believe she did, as the evidence was irrefutable. She enlisted the help of an old ham radio operator, Mr. Jacobs, who had been listening to the airwaves for decades. Together, they pinpointed a frequency that seemed to be the origin of the whispers. Armed with her notes and Mr. Jacobs' expertise, Clara began to discern a pattern. The predictions came at precise intervals, and the static that accompanied them spiked in a way that was anything but natural. It was artificial, manipulated. As the puzzle pieces fell into place, Clara realized that this was no ghostly phenomenon. They were dealing with a signal that was man-made. With each revelation, Clara felt the weight of responsibility. The townsfolk looked to her for answers, but what she was uncovering suggested a conspiracy that was beyond her understanding. The whispers spoke of events that no one should have known about, things that happened behind closed doors, private tragedies, and secret shames. The voice knew all, and it hid in plain sight. the final broadcast of the night was different. It was a direct address to Clara herself. "Seek and ye shall find, Clara Bennett," it said. "But be wary, for the truth harbors a storm greater than this one." The message chilled her to the bone. She was no longer merely a journalist chasing a story. She was part of the story, and her role in it was yet to be determined. As the chapter closes, Clara is left with a choice: to continue her pursuit of the truth, risking her safety and sanity, or to let the whispers remain a mystery, protecting herself but leaving the town in fear of the next prediction. The storm outside mirrors her turmoil, and as she watches the rain lash against the windows, she knows there is no turning back. Cold Harbor's secrets are calling, and she must answer. Chapter 3. The Echoes of Truth. Clara, with the latest cryptic whisper still echoing in her ears, felt the adrenaline of her journalistic instincts kick into overdrive. She couldn't ignore the challenge, nor the fact that the voice seemed to know her too well. The storm outside raged on, a fitting backdrop for the storm within as she resolved to unearth the truth. With Mr. Jacobs' help, they traced the signal to an abandoned military base on the outskirts of town, a relic from the Cold War that everyone had forgotten. The base was decrepit, a skeleton of rust and peeling paint, but as Clara approached, she felt a buzz in the air, the hum of something alive. The whispers had led her here, to the heart of Cold Harbor's forgotten history. Inside, she discovered a bank of old equipment, still running, still sending out signals. It was a clandestine government experiment that had been left unchecked, its original purpose lost to time, now only spewing out the residual data it had collected over decades. Clara, with trembling hands, shut down the equipment, silencing the whispers once and for all. As the screens went dark and the static dissipated, she felt a sense of finality, but also of dread. She had stopped the whispers, but at what cost? The truth was out now, and it couldn't be unheard. The townsfolk would need to confront the reality that their secrets had never really been their own. The next day, Cold Harbor woke to a silence deeper than before. The whispers were gone, but so was the innocence of the town. Clara penned her story, exposing the truth of the government experiment, revealing the source of the whispers. But she wondered if she had done the right thing. As she published her article, she hoped it would bring closure to her neighbors, help them heal from the silent wounds the whispers had inflicted. The story ends with Clara at her desk, the paper in front of her, and the town of Cold Harbor moving on. The whispers were no longer a voice from the shadows, but a memory, a story to be told in hushed tones when the wind howled and the waves crashed against the shore. Clara had sought the truth, and in finding it, she had changed Cold Harbor forever. Silence reigned, but it was a silence filled with understanding, with acceptance, and, ultimately, with peace.